Hi everyone, welcome to the Sanctum. This is AL, and you probably hear Shango hyperventilating in the back. He's hyperventilating because I had some ham, and he would like some. So today we're going to review John Holland's The Psychic Tarot. Now, as you know, I have reviewed the Psychic Tarot of the Heart, and I wanted to show this deck too because I know some people like one deck more than the other. Some people like both decks and do both decks combined, which I can see the reasons why for that. So I wanted to review this deck, give you my impressions of it, and tell you the plus and minuses of having both decks or picking one deck or over the other. So first things first, let me bring up the book, and I'm going to bring up the other set of cards, which are the chakra cards, because just like the other set, I have them separated out. So I'm going to move my selenite wand out of the way just so I can put my hands on here. The book is just like the other book. It is a decent size, so you can actually see it's got the black and white picture. It's got the definitions, and just like the other book that it talks about getting started, it does give you the arcana. Like the physical is represented by the red border, emotions are the green border, mental is the indigo, spirit is the violet, and then the chakra cards are the court cards, because they only have 10 cards. So they do give you readings, single pull, 5 card, the yearly forecast, and they give you ideas of how to develop your psychic ability a bit. So the book in itself is actually fantastic on many levels, and I wanted to showcase that. Now, remember how I told you that from the other deck, if you watched that review, that the chakra cards are different between the two sets? There's a reason they are. And I told you that I didn't know which one I liked better, especially if you watched any of my pick a card readings. And I still don't know which one I like better. So let me show you some of the cards, and I'll show you why. This is the throat chakra. Solar plexus. The sacral. The third eye, the Huffy Puffy Shango, no, the heart chakra, the crown chakra, and the base chakra. And as you can see, they're actually having the mudras on it, the actual chakra symbols on there. The colors are similar, if not the same, but they are a little bit, but they are just in the middle of like a radiating circle of light. So I like the fact that they actually have the original symbols. Do I like the fact? Should I go really? Just trying to climb in my lap now. But do I like the fact that it is, as they have set out, the this kind, which is, remember, this is the first deck that came out. I like it, but I have to admit there's something about the other one that stands out more. Makes me think harder about the chakras. So it's 6 of one, half dozen the other. So it's kind of like whatever works for you when it comes to the chakra cards. So now I want to talk about these cards. And no, they're not in order. I'm sorry about this because I didn't organize these earlier. But we're going to go through some. Magical Harvest. Power, which would be the Strength card. Harmony, which is the Lover's card. Spiritual Strength. I like that card, by the way. Foundation and Achievement. Let me see if I can adjust this slightly here. As I slightly adjust a little bit here, try to get out some of the... There we go. Yay! Balancing. Shadow. which I actually like that one. That's actually quite the card. Emotional loss. And again, he does take the deeper, more harsher aspects to a different level. They're not as traumatic, but at the same time too, he does bring an emotionality to them. Destiny. Positive movement forward. Kind of like it. I'm a sailboat person on occasion, as long as I don't have to be the one sailing it, because I ain't got a clue. I have knowledge, I just don't have the ability to do so. Movement, choices, and decisions. And I like that, because you gotta pick a door. What door do you go through? Gotta make movements and make choices. Accelerated motion. I like that one too. I like the picture itself, is beautiful. And this is light. So, as you can see, each picture is just beautiful. I mean, they're not anything to ever think. None of the cards are like, oh gosh, I don't like that picture. They're all beautiful. Look at the Hermit card, Solitude. They are all fabulous. So none of these cards are anything that you will not find something about to like. They're all kind of like a combination of like nouns, verbs, that kind of a thing. What I do find, and by the way, I love purple, so the back of these cards are like great. And these cards are actually gilded. I know some people got decks that were not at one point, but I do have a deck with my recent buy. I actually bought these directly from Hay House that were gilded. So I've worked with both. And I worked with them for both readings recently and with the pick a card. They have similar but different intent. I'm trying to figure out how to best put this. So, when I do a reading, depending on what the question is, and depending on what it needs to be, what it needs to say, will depend on what I do and how it fits in within the scheme of a reading itself. Now, when it's a personal reading, and Lord have mercy, I've been seeming to do quite a bit of those lately. When I lay out cards, and I'm just going to lay out a few as an example here, because this is not going to be the reading that I do for everything. What I do is I'll take whatever keywords are on there, if there's keywords involved, and the pictures themselves, and I will spread these out so you can see, and take them into how they relate to each other and why. So when I look at them, I take them into consideration, especially in how I laid them out. So you're looking at somebody who's had success after losing prosperity, after losing their patience and planning. Everything has gone to hell, and they had experienced heartache and loss, and now that aspect's going away. But it's a very slow process. How do we know? Because of where it is in position to the first card. So these are the way that when I look at a deck and I can take a look at the pictures and see everything, and I take it in total. That's one of the things about this deck that I find fabulous, is that the pictures really stimulate what I see and what I hear intuitively. The other thing that is very amazing to me is the fact that when I work with the chakras, and I work within the balance of both what I do and with a reading for a person, that using the chakra cards has been outstandingly beneficial too, because it always seems to be that if I use that as the guide, that this is the card that is going to be the guiding card of what's wrong, or what is the base card for what we're looking at, what is actually the base of the emotion, and then go from there. I find that when I do the reading and I look back at the chakra card, it actually is all in sync. So it is something that I find that with this deck is truly amazing. So I wanted to go ahead because January is just a few days away, and this week has been kind of crazy and insane, and I wanted to go ahead and do a reading. So first things first, we're going to pick a chakra card. And Shane Grove says that I have to actually mix it up as if he has come by and knocked all the cards off of the table, which he is not allowed to touch anymore. Right, Shane Grove? Yeah. So, we're going to pick one. Solar plexus chakra. So that's the energy we're going to work with for the new year. Really? Seriously? You're huffing and puffing, puppy. I love you too. Shake my hand. Thank you. I love you too, but there's no food. You ate it all. Well, you ate it all with mommy, but yeah. And the other thing is that these cards are actually quite sturdy for riffle shuffling. So those of you who wondered, yeah, it works. And I was a friend of mine sat there and was like, you know, everybody else does, you know, the regular shuffling. You riffle shuffle like there's nobody's business. And I go, look, I learned to play cards first when I was little. And when I first got my first deck to learn how to read, which was by my grandfather's deck, it was a playing card deck. It was the gypsy cards. And so I was taught to shuffle, to riffle shuffle like it was a regular card game. So that has always been the way I have done it. And if you don't like it, tough titties. So I really don't care. So I have learned that when it comes to certain decks do respond better to riffle shuffles than others. And those seem to be the decks that I go to now. There's some that are kind of big for that, and I've learned ways around to be able to still riffle shuffle. This one is a little bit big. There's a few others, and I have arthritis in my hands, so it does make it a little bit more important for me. Okay, so this one, we're going to turn this way because I had a feeling we need to. Okay, perfect. So, beginning of this year is going to be really simple, really interesting. So, we're looking at the fact of we're starting a lot of this year with not a lot of hope and not feeling like we're in power. And I'll be honest with you, that's probably the way that most of us have been feeling for most of 2018. I can tell you that for a fact that most of us have been feeling this way. And the reason behind it is simple. Because of the fact that we don't have patience and planning. So this is going to be something that's going to be part of our needs for the coming year. The reason why haven't developed enough hope is simple. We've had emotional loss, and now that loss is over, we haven't finished grieving for it. So we're really truly needing to move forward on this. Now, we have been gaining spiritual strength over the past few months. I want to say past 3 to 4 months, some of us 5 or 6. And that's been giving us some benefit. It's been making us a little bit deeper, a little bit stronger than we're giving ourselves credit for. And you need to start giving yourselves credit. It's something that I've been saying to the people, my customers at my job, because a lot of times people don't realize that they are doing well. Nobody gives them credit for anything except what they do wrong. So I have made it a point the last, 6 to 10 months, that I don't care what level of whatever they are or who they are on, whether they've been with the company 1 year, 6 months, 2 years, 3 years, that depending on how they look in the system, how their levels of coverage are, because I work in insurance, just so you know. That's my day job. That I will tell them that they are doing great, that they look good. That with their, depending on how they're rated and stuff, because you don't get to hear that much from your insurance company, and it's something that you need to hear. It's something that you have to hear. So with your spiritual strength, you're going to start developing a firm foundation for 2019. Yay for firm foundations! We all need it. My foundation was rocked this past year, 2018, in ways that I did not expect. I lost my cousin who was younger than me to kidney disease. He kind of gave up before he could get a transplant. He died at the age of 30. I lost an aunt to a heart attack. It was the 10-year anniversary of my mom dying. I lost one of my best friends to breast cancer after fighting for 7.5 years. So it has been a very, very tough year of loss. So I am not going to tell you that it's not affected me in any way, and it can stumble anybody. But I also have a firmer foundation of what's important in life. My friends who I've adopted as family, people who mean the world to me, that if they don't get on the ball and don't warn me that they're going to drop out of sight on a regular basis, they will get my complete and utter yelling at when they come back. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Silver. Next time, leave a note. So you got to find your truth for 2019. What is your core truth? And it's something we can actually do between now and January 1st. Your core truth is actually what's going to be your firm foundation. It could be something as simple as, I am filled with joy when I'm around my friends, when I'm around my books, when I do this, I feel joy and I feel truth. I am this. I am knowledge. I am emotion. I am the law. I am information. Those truths are something that make up your core. And the easiest way that I found, especially a lot of people say, well, I don't know what I really am. I don't know what my core is. And there's a series of questions that I was given when I was first learning about who and what I was. And it's something that I wanted to give to you. And it may help a lot of you who really don't know what your core, who you are at the deepest level is. And it goes like this. If money, time, and knowledge were no object, what would you do? Who would you serve? Why would you serve them? What would you say is your greatest emotional gift that you give to others? What emotional gift do you give to yourself every single day? If it is a negative gift, ask yourself, whose voice do you hear truly when you hear that negativity? Because it's not your own. It sounds like your voice, but it isn't. Who started that voice for you? The other core things are, I am the strongest when I'm doing what? I am the weakest when I am doing what? I find it easy or hard to ask for help. I find it easy or hard to give help. When I do blank, I find that I have no ending worth of love, patience, and joy. It is the easiest thing for me to accomplish. when I do this, it is the hardest thing on the face of the planet for me to finish even one iota bit of knowledge or truth about that one item. What that does is it tells you what your limits are, and it tells you your deepest core truth about who and what you are capable of. So for me, I am a research bunny. I am a research junkie like nobody else's business. I was told when I was younger that I would be a repository. And I thought it was the funniest term I had ever heard as a kid, because I was like about 6 or 7. And I didn't understand what that meant, really. I looked it up, but it didn't resonate at the time, because I was 7, and at 7 nothing resonates for what you are. And yet I read, I researched, I loved knowledge, I love to learn different things. I have an obsessive compulsive need to learn things, and when I learn that item, it gets shelved in my knowledge head, into my little repository of knowledge, and I move to the next item. It doesn't mean I don't ever go back to that item. Oh, because when I do, because I have that knowledge, I'm just like, booyah, baby, let's go. But I have to know things. It's one reason why I became a druid. It's one reason why my family heritage is the way it's set up to be. It's one reason why I became a shaman. Because it is part and parcel of what I'm supposed to be in this lifetime. I am a keeper of knowledge. I am a sharer of knowledge. I am probably the person to find things on the net quicker than most people can actually breathe. It is really honestly scary. I don't know how I knew it. I just know that my brain thinks in such a way that it just can find it and pull it up. And people used to pay me big money to do the research for them and get them the info they needed. So don't be trapped in fear. Trying to find this out, figure it out, figure who you are. There's no reason to fear. Don't be trapped in it. Who your core self is isn't something to be afraid of. Like I said, the negative parts are just the shadow versions of what your true shining self is. It is the fact that, hey, if I go too far, this is the bad side of me that I see. If I stay within the boundary of it, then this is the good part that it is. Because trust me, knowledge taken in a bad way, dude, it's called blackmail. I'm not going to tell you that I haven't done it in the past when I was younger. I did it for good reason, but it was not cool. I'm just going to tell you that straight out. Temptation. You are going to be tempted to, when you figure out your core truth, to rush into it, to run and do, and to drop all this other stuff. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Give yourself time to really get into what you want. Ease into your core truths if you haven't done it already. You have the ability to be who and what you are. Find your harmony. Find your best friends. Find your truth. Find that balance in your life that you need. Many of you don't have balance right now. Not a true balance within yourself or without yourself. You're either giving too much, or some of you might be taking too much and not realizing you're taking, because it's the way it's always been. If I need it, they give it. Well, that's not cool if you're not giving back. It's called entitlement. Not cool. Not cool at all. I had to basically have a showdown with a friend of mine. Well, actually, it's a family member who's also a friend, over that very issue over Christmas. So, seriously, this beginning year, it's going to be about the fact that we're getting over not having hope, not having power. We're going to find a piece of ourselves that have been missing. But we got this. We've got it. We're going to be tempted to misuse it once we find our truth. But it's going to be better. We're going to work on our solar plexus chakra at the beginning of the year. It's going to be part and parcel of whom and what we are. And when things are all said and done, we're going to be able to relax, rest, and rejuvenate. Because after March, it's going to get intense. Yeah. In a good way, though. And you need to be prepared. All right. Until next time, Bendithian.